When it comes to mecha model kits, Gundam Plastic Models, or Gunpla for short, reign supreme. They have it all. They look incredible, feel incredible, pose incredibly, and are insanely collectible. Face it, it's the greatest hobby to ever exist. Ever. When you bust open a Gundam kit, 9.9 times out of 10 you're guaranteed an awesome time. Bandai just doesn't screw around. But even within the world of plastic Gundam awesomeness, there's still kits that stand out from the crowd by being even better than the best. Gods among small-scale plastic bipedal war machines. These are the kits that define the absolute best aspects of Gunpla as a hobby, and that is exactly what this video is about. These are the top 20 Gundam model kits that you need to build. Also, to make sure that this list hits every base that it needs to, I'm going to corkscrew through all of the grades, high grade, real grade, master grade, and perfect grade, to make sure that I don't miss anything. So no matter what kind of kit you're looking to build, whether small, big, fun, serious, simple, detailed, cheap, or expensive, you'll find the perfect kit just for you. Anyway, let's count them down. This video was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. Use my QR code or those links down there in the description to download Raid yourself to your mobile phone or PC. Do you like elves? I like elves. Elves are awesome. And in Raid, their backstory goes a little bit like this. Their homeland, Aravia, has been around for thousands of years, surviving the fall of the Lizardman Empire, helped the humans form into civilizations, and defeated the orcs when they formed a huge horde and attacked the continent. But things got twisted when Sirath, the Lord of Darkness, convinced a bunch of elves to go evil and attack the kingdom. The Civil War nearly ended the elves, but Aravia survived, rebuilt, and now it's stronger than ever. When it comes to high-grade Gunpla, there's literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them out there, so narrowing it down for this video and doesn't mind correcting some minor issues with it. This all stems from the fact that Kitoki, who puts the Verka in a Verka kit, usually pushes the envelope when it comes to mobile suit design, and mobile suit design when it comes to mecha model kits, so it does mean this is extremely technical and needs a lot of extra work to make sure that it makes the perfect finished build. But when you do, it is so worth it. This is a god among master grade kits. Aesthetically, it's got everything. It's got fantastic proportions, it looks great, the armor is separated into tons of tiny parts with multiple shades of colors. For example, the white has 2 shades of white, being a white and a light gray, and it's just an absolute feast for the eyes. And this might be an odd thing to say, but that is the most handsome Gundam face that has ever existed. When it comes to the accessories in here, you get everything you would want, including a full display stand, which can display the funnels in flight. And speaking of the funnels in flight, I do recommend displaying them in flight because the wing that is in here, when they are actually attached together into a wing, does require extra effort too and is quite likely to fall off. Modify it a little bit though, and it will not. So once again, this is for a kit that you don't mind putting that little bit of extra effort into while you build it. Finally then, when it does come to the articulation, this has very nice articulation, especially when it comes to all the different hatches and gimmicks all over the surface of this kit. But when it comes to overall posability, this isn't going to be doing any kind of Gundam yoga or over-the-top poses. Once again, this is definitely a kit 100% for display rather than play. And if you like to paint or detail up your kits, this is a perfect one for it. So this one is 100% for those that like to put extra effort into their kits, not necessarily for an out-of-box builder. The real grade Zeong from the original Mobile Suit Gundam is, well, how do I put it? It's one of the most unusual Gundam kits around, and unusual in the best sense. Depending on who you ask, some people might just say that real grade is the best line of Gunpla around, and those people might just be right. These are palm-sized Gundams with so much pumped into them, it's not even funny. They're ridiculous. And that goes for the Zeong too. Aesthetically, this looks like absolutely nothing else in the real grade line. It's a hovering mobile suit with no legs that, well, is pretty damn big. The outward technical detail on this is absolutely beautiful. The multiple shades of colors on this, from the multiple shades of grey to the multiple shades of blue and yellow, all look fantastic. This is topped off then by some very nice sticker designs, but I do recommend shelling out for the water slides. But it isn't what's on the outside of this kit that makes it spectacular. This kit is ridiculously detailed on the inside. It's layered up fantastically, and all of those layered parts feature some ridiculous articulation. When it comes to what is included inside the box, there's 2 versions of this available. The standard version is just the Zeong itself, with some stands to keep it up in the air. There's also the last shooting version as well, which adds a whole bunch of firing, and thruster effect parts for one hell of a display, as well as some parts for pairing it with the OG real grade, which is the RX-78-2. Now, taking one look at it, you'd assume this isn't a kit with a whole lot of articulation. That's what I would have thought, but I was entirely wrong. This thing can pose up a storm, and it doesn't even have any legs. The thrusters all pose up perfectly, it's got individual fingers, and everything just moves perfectly. All the armor plates in the skirt section can move too, and it looks spectacular. If you like robots with a really unique design, lots of technical elements, and lots of technical design, this is probably the kit for you. Now moving from the Zeong to the Neo Zeong. These things are absolutely nothing alike. The high-grade Neo Zeong, from either Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn for the red version or Mobile Suit Gundam NT for the gray, is the biggest high-grade Gundam kit around. This is 1/44th scale like all high grades, but it is absolutely colossal. Now this one might be hard to find, it might also be absolute hell on your wallet, but if you can find it, can afford it, this makes for the most over-the-top ridiculous Gundam display. It doesn't really do that much, it can't really move around all that much either. It does include the Sinanju for attaching into it, but this right here is all about the display. This thing looks incredible and will never go unnoticed. If you want a centerpiece for your Gundam collection, especially if you gravitate towards 1/144th scale, this is something you need. The Master Grade Eclipse Gundam from Gundam Seed Eclipse is an absolutely spectacular Master Grade kit. I love Master Grades. They're my favorite line and what I always recommend to people. They're the perfect mix of size and detail. They're never too over-detailed, never too under-detailed, they're not too big and they're not too small. They're very easy to handle and very easy to pose. And this particular Master Grade right here I keep about, well, it's not even a foot from my desk. I love looking at this kit, it is absolutely gorgeous. It looks like nothing else, and it is a treat for the eyes. I know this isn't a design for everyone, it has divided the fan base a little bit, but get in close to this kit and there's absolutely no denying that Bandai put some awesome time and effort into designing this beast. This is a box that comes absolutely packed. You get anything you could ever need. First off, you do get a stand, which is always very nice, especially when a kit has such pointy feet like this. There's an absolutely fantastic spread of weaponry, including some nice beam effects, but it's not what this kit does have that makes it so fantastic, it's what it doesn't. In Gundam Seed, there's a thing called Striker Packs, and Silhouette Packs, and I think Wizard Packs too. There's packs. This kit right here was specifically designed by Bandai to use pretty much all of the packs. Now I will mention, there are a couple of packs that aren't compatible with this kit, but the vast majority of them are, which means this is so much fun to just try with your other Seed Master Grades. This kit also features the exact same fingers we would have seen with every Seed kit in recent history, so that does mean that this thing's compatibility is off the charts for some ridiculously fun customs and kit bashes. Did I also mention it transforms into a space race car? Yeah, it does that. Still compatible with those packs too. When it comes to the real grade line, it's very easy to get caught up in the splendor, the ridiculous engineering, the absolutely over-the-top huge real grades like the Hi-Nu Gundam, the Sazabi, the Zeong, that sometimes it's nice just to get a regular old Gundam. And that's exactly what the real grade Force Impulse Gundam from Gundam Seed Destiny is. It's a regular old Gundam in real grade, and that is why it's fantastic. It's got the absolutely over-the-top renowned real grade detail. It's absolutely gorgeous and does look like what the Force Impulse Gundam would look like in real life, which is the real grade shtick. When it comes to the accessories, we get everything that you need to make the Force Impulse the Force Impulse. That of course is the Impulse Gundam itself and the Force Silhouette Pack. Articulation-wise, this is absolutely over the top. You'll get all the ridiculous poses you could ever want and more. It does have the transformation to the funny torso and legs thing that it does. But the magic of this particular kit is just what I mentioned earlier. This is a fairly normal looking Gundam with all of the real grade bells and whistles. It's so much fun to build, so much fun to play around with, and just is a drop-dead gorgeous Gundam. When it comes to perfect grade Gunpla, as the namesake suggests, this is meant to be the perfect line of Gunpla, the ultimate Gundam building experience. Sadly, that isn't always the case. I've found compared to every other Gunpla line, this one is the one that is the most hit and miss. Not every single one of these kits is the same when it comes to quality and overall experience. This mainly comes down to the fact that these come out quite infrequently, so there's massive gaps when it comes to design and technology between each one. So it is always worth looking into a kit before you decide to take the plunge. They're quite pricey. One perfect grade you cannot make any mistakes with though is the perfect grade Unicorn Gundam. In of itself, it isn't even perfect at that, mainly because you can't buy this as a perfect set. The LEDs are always sold separately, so if you want the ultimate perfect grade Gundam, you need to buy 2 boxes. That's the perfect grade Unicorn Gundam itself, and then the LEDs. However, what you get in the end is absolute poetry in plastic. It's absolutely massive, it's 14 inches tall, not including the stand that it will be standing on. It's got a full lighting display that will make you feel like you're standing in the middle of Odaiba, Japan looking at the life-size statue, and it does have the iconic Unicorn Gundam transformation. That is from the Unicorn mode to the instantly recognizable Destroy mode and the perfect grade exclusive Destroy mode Unchained, aka Destroy mode with a couple of flaps open. Now there are a multitude of this particular kit available from different colors to different loadouts, but what I'm going to be talking about here is the standard version. When it comes to the accessories that are in here, you get the Beam Magnum, Beam Sabers, Gatlings, Shield, and Bazooka, but if you do want more, there is the full armor, perfectibility, Phoenix, etc. Now for a massive chunky kit, this is surprisingly poseable. It's got some great articulation going on in it, so you will get some nice poses, but I find this looks the best just standing up on a shelf looking threatening with those lights on. This is one of the best Gunpla displays around. Definitely a kit you need in your collection. The high-grade Sea Gundam from Gundam Hathaway is, well, it's a big gnarly Gundam, and that's a good enough reason for it to be on this list. This isn't like any other high-grade kit. It's big, it's massive, it's pointy, and if you've got a 1/44th scale collection, this is one that just needs to be in there for its sheer presence and over-the-top nature. At its core, it is a very simple kit, a big simple kit, and those are two things that go together well. Case in point, the Penelope. That's big and not so simple, and it's got a lot of weird bits going on. That's what makes the Sea Gundam better. It's big, it's awesome, and it's fun, and it looks incredible in any high-grade collection. When it comes to the accessories inside of the box, it's this standard Gundam loadout of Beam Sabers, Beam Rifle, and Shield, all scaled up to nicely fit a massive Gundam. Articulation-wise, this is not going to blow your mind as you'd expect from something so big and chunky. Once again, this is another one of those kits that's all about the display factor, not the play factor. So if you do like something with a lot of articulation, this may not be the one for you. But if you want a big slab of Gundam plastic for with your 1/44th scale kits, this one does that job perfectly. In a way, this position in the list is a placeholder for multiple kits, 3 kits in fact. That is the brand new aspect of the Master Grade Gundam 00 line. That's Junemes, Kyrios, and Virtue. They're all absolutely incredible. They're fantastic kits. If you want one that's just a solid Gundam, go for Junemes. If you want a Transformer, go for Kyrios. But if you want an over-the-top experience, that is the one I'm recommending at this point, and that is Virtue. This builds up as the Nadle first, which is the core of this kit, with a whole spread of accessories that is Nadle exclusive. After that, you build up all of the armor that attaches onto the Nadle to make it the Virtue. This all locks on perfectly, and you still have tons of articulation and posability to work with. Not only that, now you've got a full spread of equipment, which is to be used with the Virtue itself. This is essentially 2 kits in one. Actually, that blew my mind so much, I actually had to go out and get 2 of them. One to display the Nadle, and one to display it as the Virtue. This right here is a Gundam model kit you can spend hours upon hours upon hours with. It's got so many options. Not only that, but pretty much everything across the 3 kits that I just mentioned is compatible with each other. They all share pretty much the same joints, so swapping out arms and legs can be done, and they all share the same hands, which means you can swap weapons. That means this line is absolutely perfect for a kit bash. Just in case you're not aware, the Master Grade Exia is actually an older kit from 10 or more years ago, and that is not compatible with these particular kits. That's why if you ever see someone going Master Grade Exia 2.0 when, well, that would be why. But yeah, what can I say? The Master Grade Gundam Virtue and the Master Grade Gundam Nadle is an absolute Gunpla experience. The real grade new Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack was such a good kit when it came out that I declared it the greatest Gunpla of all time. And it has since lost the crown to the real grade high new Gundam, but it's still an absolutely incredible kit. Visually, this kit is absolutely stunning. It takes pretty much all of the detail we would have seen in that Master Grade New Gundam Verka a little further back on the list and shrinks it down into tiny 1/44th scale. One bit of a departure from this particular design is the fact that the head is now a rounder, cuter design. This isn't the standard look we would have seen in the anime from way back when. This is definitely a real grade exclusive. I absolutely adore it, but it may put off anime purists. Besides that, all of the real grade detail is here. That's the multiple shades of white, no color correcting stickers, and tons of decals for detailing this up when finished. When it comes to the accessories in here, this is par for the course once again for a real grade and the new Gundam. The only thing really worth mentioning in here is the fin funnels. These are actually done quite well and they hold on very well in wing form, which you can't necessarily say for the Master Grade Verka. I will mention though, if it does fall over, these will fall off, but it's not nearly as bad as what we would have seen before. Now what is absolutely truly spectacular about this particular kit is the articulation in here. It actually brings the aesthetics and the overall look of this to the next level. It can really pose up a storm. It features all the articulation you could ever need and more. This looks spectacular in absolutely every pose. If you love over-the-top poses, it can do them. If you want standard standing poses, you can actually eke them to look very dynamic, even though it's just standing there. This right here really is a kit that has it all. So you can't have a list about Gundam without at least one Oryx 78-2 on it. After all, it was the granddaddy that started it all. Now when it comes to 1/44th scale, which one to go for? There's so many out there. Entry grade, real grade, high grade, there's probably other grades as well, but there's one simple answer to that. The high grade Gundam the Origin from Gundam the Origin. This is the high grade granddaddy Gundam that has it all. It's got the looks, it's got the guns, it's got the moves. It is absolutely phenomenal. I've built this multiple times, and I never get sick of it. It is so damn good. So design-wise, this is the exact design you will see in this series Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. I mean, they probably literally took the CG data to make the actual Gunpla with. If you like detail on your Gundam, this one's got detail. On top of that, there's also options to the build. You're able to build it with various different parts on its chest, various different parts on its arms, and different parts on its backpack. When it comes to accessories, do you like guns? Because it's got guns. It's also got multiple hands, beam sabers, and options. When it comes to the articulation, you're not going to get the craziest poses out of it, but you're going to get some goddamn good ones. It's rock solid with great articulation and not too much when it comes to limitations. You're definitely going to get some good poses. So yeah, there's a lot of 1/44th scale Oryx 78-2 granddaddies out there, but for me, this one is still the best. The Wing Zero Gundam EW, the Gundam that literally puts wing in Wing Gundam. This to me is a Gundam that holds a very special place in my heart because it was the first ever Gundam model kit I ever built, that being the Master Grade from 16 or 17 years ago. Now that kit is quite dated by today's standards, and there are a lot of versions of this particular Gundam. It's a massive fan favorite. So if you were to choose one and only one, I would have to recommend the Master Grade Wing Gundam Zero EW Verka. This is the kit that has it all. It has the looks, it is rock solid, has great accessories, and can pose up a storm. When it comes to the looks on this has all the majesty and angelic splendor you'd expect from a Gundam with a pair of angel wings. When it comes to what else comes inside of the box, we do get a stand, which is very important for a flying Gundam, as well as all the accessories you'd expect to come with Wing Zero EW. I will also mention that the hands included in here are fully compatible with the entire Master Grade EW line, which is a huge, massive bonus. This kit of course does feature the full transformation to bird mode, and this out of any of the different iterations of Wing, from TV version to Zero to EW to Zero EW, I find this is the best transformation out of all of them. It's smooth, it's solid, and the final bird mode will not shift an inch. It looks spectacular. Also, I don't know about you, but way back when watching Wing on TV, One thing that always astounded me was the design of the Gundam's legs, like the way they have a literal human-style calf and all of that. It just blew me away. And Bandai has put extra effort into making sure the legs on this are spectacular. Multiple moving flaps, they look incredible. You can also store the Twin Buster rifles up inside of the wings when they're not in use, which is an exclusive gimmick to this kit. Winding all the way back now to another real grade, and this is the RG God Gundam from Mobile Fighter G Gundam. So I have one question for you. Do you like posing your Gunpla? If the answer is yes, then you need this kit. Bandai took a lot of extra care to make sure that the articulation on this particular kit was as humanoid as possible, that it would look natural, muscular, and human in pretty much any pose it's pulling off, especially martial arts poses from the anime. Now, I definitely wouldn't pigeonhole this particular kit into the articulation hole because there's so much more to it. This is visually stunning as you'd expect from a real grade. It's got everything the real grade line offers: detail, color separation, no color correcting stickers, and detail out the arse. When it comes to the accessories in here, it is quite simple. We've got some rings for around back, a couple of beam katanas, but what mainly we have in here is multiple hands for pulling off different poses. Now, I would say when it comes to the God Gundam, what more could you need? This kit looks spectacular without needing any additional extras. However, there are additional extras available sold separately, including this right here, a Gundam horse. I actually have this, by the way. Really need to get around to reviewing it. It doesn't do much, but it's a horse. That's a Gundam. But yeah, what can I say? This is a kit that is all about the posing. It's got tons of articulation, nice movement everywhere, and it does have the additional bonus of being a small scale kit, so it has a low center of gravity for fun poses like this. So as of me making this video right here, right now, we are 6 releases deep into the high grade The Witch from Mercury line. It's an absolutely fantastic line, full plastic builds, and they're all impressive so far, but if I was to recommend one and only one, it would be the number one. That is the Gundam Rubris. To me, this is a kit that even outdoes the main suit, the Gundam Aerial, mainly down to 2 facts in particular. Number 1, it has a full rotation at the upper leg, which the Gundam Aerial does not. The other is it's able to pull off that big old Gundam bit shield without the need for a little central adapter segment. But otherwise, the Aerial is an absolute banger of a kit too. Visually, this kit is insane. The level of detail on this is spectacular, especially considering just how simple this is. There's not that much plastic inside of the box, but the layering of the parts is phenomenal, giving you the illusion of more detail and more part separation than there actually is. This kit is hot pink on white, which is a rare color scheme that works ever so well. It also doesn't have a V-fin, which means even though it is a Gundam, this is a very atypical looking Gundam, which really does work in its favor. Another extremely nice touch by Bandai with this kit is they include a molded on the runner shell unit for the chest, which has all the nice holographic detail underneath, which requires no extra work from yourself. You just cut it from the runner, slap it on the kit, absolutely beautiful. When it comes to the accessories in here, it's a variant of the full Gundam loadout of beam sabers, beam rifle, and shield. The beam sabers are standard enough. The beam rifle is nice with some cool effects for using as a close-range weapon, but what is the most impressive aspect about this particular kit is that shield. This can be used in a multitude of ways, as a shield, as a bunch of bits, or to replicate the bit on form, where all of these bits attach onto the Gundam and its weapons to improve the particular unit's maneuverability and attack output. But when it comes to actual Gundam model kit, it just makes it look damn cool. The high-grade Rubris is an absolute stunner and a real showcase of what Bandai can do when it comes to inexpensive, small-scale Gundam model kits nowadays. This is incredible, and definitely one of the best budget-friendly kits around. So the MGEX Unicorn Gundam, aka the Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam, or what some people call the Master Grade Expensive Unicorn Gundam, is exactly what you'd expect. It's extreme and it's expensive. Now, I don't want each of these segments to go on too long, so I'm going to be quite quick with this. I outed the RG Unicorn Gundam out of this list for the Master Grade Extreme because personally, I prefer it. The real grade is a fantastic kit, so if you're looking for a cheaper, smaller alternative, go for that one. However, I love and adore the Master Grade Extreme. Old Master Grade Gundam, bad. This one, great. That's why I wish they'd release this one without the LEDs as a stripped down, cheaper version called the Master Grade Unicorn Gundam 2.0 because it's way better than the old one. Now, first off, aesthetically, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. It looks fantastic. That's ignoring the LEDs. I'll say why I'm ignoring the LEDs later on. But for now, it's gorgeous. When it comes to the accessories inside the box, this thing has a literal armory of stuff including a stand. This is off the charts. Still ignoring those LEDs. When it comes to the articulation on this, it is fantastic as well. You'll get pretty much any pose you want out of it. It is fantastic. Beware of those LEDs though, and I might as well mention the LEDs. The LEDs are gorgeous. These are the extreme point. These are way better than what we saw further back the list with the perfect grade. You can make these in green or red, so it means it can transcend back and forth between the two colors. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. They're bright and even nicer when they work. Mine stopped working for some reason or another. Then they stopped working permanently. So yeah, I was kind of debating whether or not to actually put this on the list because the LEDs died and they're still dead. But even with the LEDs dead, I still think this is a fantastic kit. Obviously not at that price point. It was great when they worked. I'm doubting its position now. Anyway, moving on. Deadline. The Real Grade Sazabi. Once again, this is from Char's Counterattack, an absolutely classic, fantastic movie. Watch it if you haven't watched it already. Watch it. It's good. It's awesome. It's best. Now for me, the Real Grade Sazabi is an absolutely phenomenal kit. There's not a lot of kits that I keep on my desk in front of me. This is one of them. This looks ridiculous. The amount of detail on this is phenomenal. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's got all of that real grade awesome jazz going on with the part separation, all the armor parts, included sticker details if you want to use those, and it's gorgeous. When it comes to the accessories in here, you've got everything that you need, including very nice beam effects. Did I mention? It's gorgeous. Next up, when it comes to the articulation in here, this will blow your mind. It's such a chunky boy, but what Bandai did with this does mean it can pose up an absolute storm. This is not a brick, it's a big old kit that can pose up like a small one. Well, I kind of suppose it is a small one comparatively, but I mean within its grade, within its scale. This right here is the small-scale Gundam model kit pinnacle for those who don't like Gundam. Are you a Zeon fan? Do you fly the flag of Zeon? Do you believe the Spacenoids did nothing wrong, that they're right? Then this is the kit you need in your collection. Down with the Federation, Real Grade Sazabi. Spooky, spooky, oh my god, I can hear the marching feet in the distance of that impending raid deadline. Save me, Spooky, save me, I wasted too much time, The high-grade Moon Gundam might just be the greatest high-grade kit ever put to plastic. This thing is an absolute beast. The level of detail on this is incredible. You could pop this in amongst a bunch of real grades and nobody would tell the difference, especially if you threw a couple of decals on it. Even to this day, I look at it on my shelf and I'm wowed by just how awesome it is. So way back when, this must have blown, actually it did blow, some minds, including mine. Like I just mentioned, I'm on a little bit of a deadline, which means the hours and seconds are ticking down really quick, and I wasted time. I like to do that. I waste a lot of time. I did it. It's my fault. So that means from here on out, I'm not going to really be fact-checking what I'm saying. However, it will be from the heart. When it comes to the accessories in here, this kicks arse. This is a premium kit through and through. We've got a full action base in here, which is always a super plus, a thing that looks like a beam tomahawk. I don't remember what this was called, but it's vigorous and beautiful. Same goes with the beam rifle. I could just call it a beam rifle, but if I'm not mistaken, this may be some kind of precursor to this Sazabi's beam shotgun. Correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Comments down there. We also have some awesome beam boomerangs, which can be folded up and slotted into the forearm. But the main event in here is that big old moon-shaped Psycho Blade. It's got translucent red round front, white round back, and it is gorgeous. They come apart. And did I mention, this kit is gorgeous. Honestly, this right here might just be the best high grade that has ever existed. However, I do feel the recent Rubris does give it a run for its money, but maybe not. You tell me, down in the comments. The Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0, a redesign of the Freedom Gundam from Gundam Seed. Now this kit did divide opinions when it did come out. That's mainly because this isn't a true Freedom Gundam, this is a redesign. The main reason for that probably being that there already is a Master Grade Freedom Gundam, Bandai didn't feel the need to redo it, instead they made something a little bit different. And that to me is an absolutely stunning looking Gundam model kit. Now I will mention, if you've never built one of these before, do not break its hips. This thing comes with hips that are too tight. That means you do need to sand down the inside of where the hip pegs go in before you put it together. Only sand it down ever so slightly, just so it's not too tight that it will snap it. Yeah, don't do that. Either sand down the peg or the inside of the hole, one or the other, but don't break them. Besides that hip breaking action, this kit is absolutely stupendous, and it's everything that I believe a master grade Gundam should be. First off, it is absolutely and utterly gorgeous. This kit features a really flashy design with lots of nice detail, complemented by some very nice articulation. When it comes to the accessories inside the box, once again this is the standard Gundam loadout of beam rifle, shield, and beam sabers, all of which do exactly what they need to do. The hands in here once again are completely compatible with the full line of newer Seed Master Grades, and we also do get a stand in here, which is always a plus. It's not the greatest stand around, but it gets it up in the sky. And that is where this kit reigns supreme. The articulation on this kit is absolutely phenomenal. Once again, be careful with those hips. And all the different elements on this, including the railguns on the waist, the wings round back with all of their moving parts, means that this will always look absolutely stunning in action poses in flight. This thing looks spectacular. Honestly, I'm standing in the dark staring at it right now. This is absolutely beautiful. You should get one. The Perfect Grade Gundam Oryx 78-2 Unleashed was designed by Bandai to be the ultimate Gundam model kit build. It's got all the tech Bandai has ever developed for Gundam model kits crammed into one absolute beast of a kit, besides a fucking stand. Honestly, it's like Bandai was like, we're gonna make the greatest Oryx 78-2 model kit around, the best Gundam model kit around that builds up in multiple layers, is an absolute event of a build, and then we're going to give you one big fat middle finger by not including a stand or having any kind of stand it's compatible with. It is forever relegated to the ground. Forever. Now that I've got that gripe out of my system, this thing is beautiful. The build of this kit is like absolutely no other Gundam model kit out there. This builds up in a series of phases. Phase 1, you build the entire inner frame with all of its incredible detail. This is a model kit in its own right, almost like Bandai wants you to buy multiple of these to display them in all of the stages, which is actually a solid idea if you want to be poor. Do I want to be poor? As you build this kit up, you add layer upon layer. You've got a layer of etched metal parts to go over the inner frame, followed by the armor, followed by some decals. This builds up in a multitude of phases, and each one changes this kit in the absolute most awesome ways. When it comes to the accessories in here, this is the basic Gundam loadout of sword, board, and beam rifle, each as detailed as the Gundam itself. With the beam saber being especially impressive considering it packs in a full LED and battery inside of the handle that will light up the beam saber, and even 1 year later, that light is still going strong. One departure from the standard Perfect Grade design is we do get pre-posed hands in here. This is definitely a double-edged sword. These hold on to the weapons better than the posable style hands, but of course some people just love those posable style hands. When you've got a kit that big, it's nice to pose the individual digits. When it comes to the articulation on this kit, once again this is one that is definitely for display rather than play. There is some limited aspects to the articulation in here, and all you'll really get is basic poses. This is a kit that is predominantly about the build and the overall aesthetics, rather than the poses that it can pull off, and the weapons included. So if you're looking for an absolutely phenomenal build, ridiculous detail upon detail and upon detail, this is the kit that you need. Now, if you could only have one Gundam model kit and one Gundam model kit only, never again to ever have another Gundam model kit, I would recommend the Real Grade Hi-Nu Gundam. This is the kit that has taken its big old plastic butt flap and situated right on that spike that is the tip of the Gunpla pyramid. This is the king of Gunpla. Now my mind is fried, absolutely fried. I just sat down and tried to explain 20 Gundams, why they're great and why you need them in a short period of time, and now my brain just literally cannot think anymore. There is what the Real Grade Hi-Nu Gundam looks like. It's an absolutely gorgeous kit. Aesthetically, it is phenomenal looking. Accessories wise, this comes with the standard Gundam loadout, once again of beam saber, beam rifle, shield, and on top of that then we have that Hi-Nu Gundam bazooka. Man, my brain not working anymore. It's a great kit. Absolutely fantastic. This kit gets the 10 out of 10 for both play and display. Play-wise, this kit can pull off any pose. The articulation is fantastic and we've got plenty of nice moving panels and gimmicks. Display-wise, this is absolutely gorgeous. Get this up on a stand, open up those wings, and this will look phenomenal, even if you've got a pretty big collection. And if it's 1/44th scale, it will stand out perfect. So yeah, it's a damn fine Gundam and one that definitely deserves the #1 spot. Now while the grey matter inside of my head slowly dissolves, turns to a liquid and leaks out my ears from overthinking about Gundam model kits for the last few hours, make sure to drop down there in the comments. If you had a kit you would recommend that someone just needs to build and I did not include it in this list, then make sure to drop it down there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla videos. And of course, I will see you next time.